Afternoon, Marina. How are you?
I am good, Charles. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I want to thank you for coming on the Q.A.C Team Podcast this afternoon. Let's go ahead and get started and tell the audience more about who you are and what you do.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. That's a big honor. And uh, I love to share my story and hopefully help people at some point of their life, if it's not right this second. But I'm a CPA. I've been in practice for 25 years. I've been doing this for a quarter century, which is kind of crazy to say. I've been on my own for 17 years running my accounting firm. I used to have two locations. Post shutdown, I consolidated to one because I don't need two locations. I can do all the stuff I do out of Fiji on the beach. So, but
Love
I
it.
like to have my office space. So,
That's the
well, one
attitude,
is
right?
good.
That's
Absolutely.
the attitude. Yeah, yeah. So tell us a little bit about how you got started and why did you start to be a business owner?
So I always knew that I wanted to be on my own just because I like to have my own schedule and I like to create my own rules. And early on in life, I realized that corporate America is not for me.
Yes.
Too many personalities, and you spend a whole hour in a board meeting, and accomplish absolutely nothing. So I said, you know what? There's got to be a different way of doing life in general. So my parents were doctors, and I was always kind of uh, thought that I would be a doctor in the healthcare industry. And it was so much of the medical on both sides of my family that I said, you know what? I actually love numbers, and numbers just a pure logic. It comes so naturally to me. I never really studied for math or algebra or geometry. All of that just made sense to me. And I said, okay, well, what am I going to do with numbers? Because I also want to make sure that I don't live from paycheck to paycheck. That would be kind of nice too, right? So,
Yeah. The
uh,
dream.
absolutely. So, what can I do with it that I love, but I also can compensate and support a family on that, right? That those kind of things, the little things in life that we have to consider. So, I came across with this article when I was 17 years old, and the article was three most guaranteed jobs in this life, in this country. And number one was a doctor because people always get sick. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of trying to get away from that. I love medicine, I still do, but just too much of it. And then second was a funeral home. Like, yeah, I kind of like living. I'm good because it's good because people always die. And the third one was a tax accountant. And I said, bingo, because death and taxes, baby, right? And
They
that's
go
something
together.
we can't get away from that. So that's the world I decided to live in intentionally from the age of 18. So I went through my college years, working full time and going to school full time, getting my second degree in business. And it's just all that path I designed when I was before college, actually, pre-college.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about, the top three that you'd read the article. Give us a little bit of insight on why did you choose this industry? It had to be more than just, oh, that's what I want, tax, numbers, right? Give us a little bit more about why'd you choose it?
So I like tax, and I liked it at that time as well, even more so because there's always this, uncertainty about it, right? When people think tax, when people hear word tax, they get this anxiety and apprehension, and it's just uneasy, that feeling like just this, people, nobody likes tax, nobody. So, and to me, it was intriguing. I'm like, there's got to be a better way about it, right? Because all it is math. It really is just math. But if and it's the way I look at the tax code and the tax in general as a tool is just puzzle, big puzzle pieces of the puzzle that when I dissect somebody's financial information in schedules, and I can see those pieces and where they can fit in to the best of the client's right life. And that's why it's engineering, it's designing and living that life on purpose, and
Yeah.
gravitating from reactive to proactive thinking, because like anything in life in general, it's not what we know, it's what we don't know. And the less we know of something, right, then the
Sure.
more hesitant we become, right? The
Yeah,
more that scarcity mindset sets in. So, and that's my job to make sure that we take that scarcity mindset and turn it into some pleasant experience, because at the end of the day, it's really a great tool to have, right? Because you, by saving tax money, that's, by the way, your money, right? You preserve your financial health and you
absolutely.
build your legacy. And what else can you do with the money that you just saved,
Yeah,
right?
so true. Yeah,
Financial freedom is one of them. How great is that? Does
yeah.
everybody want to work till they're 100? No.
No. I don't know. I kind of I don't want to retire. I got big plans and big goals. I'm gonna be well, I'm gonna work until the day I die.
But there is a difference working because
Yeah.
you have to and working because you want to.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
goal, right?
I love it. Yeah. Gotta
So a
have
lot
goals.
of people, unfortunately, because of lack of planning, they work because they have to, not because
Yeah.
they want to.
Yeah. I think that's huge. That's a huge misconception, right? Is you want to or you have to. That's so huge because that one little word makes such a huge difference in life and planning, how to get through life, right?
Right. Well, it's all
Yeah.
perspective, right? Like anything in life is perspective. When you wake up and say, I have to do this, like let's just say I have to file my tax return. It's April 14th, and your anxiety is like right here. And but if you just reshuffle your mindset and you say, I get to do this, right? Because then you have the power of doing it or not doing. Either decision you make, it's a decision you make, right? Doing is not doing, it's also a decision.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you are in control of your life. You're in control of your destiny. You're in control of your financial freedom. And I mean, I think the ultimate goal for everybody is just kind of be in alignment with who you are, right? Be your true authentic self. But one of those aspects in your life, it's your spiritual, it's your physical, it's your mental, but it's also financial. You can't be accomplishing all the alignment, be fully centered if the financial side is a disaster. You just
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. That is so true.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, right? Leads to our next question that really ties to this. Is like, so what are some of the challenges you face, with your business?
Challenges. So my biggest thing's been, and again, I've been on my own for 17 years, so it's nearly 2 decades, but in the industry, 2.5, right? It's a long time. It's a lot of
Yeah.
people that I come across with. The biggest challenge, I think, that really getting my clients or potential clients to understand that saying failure to plan is planning to fail. We
Yeah.
have to be proactive. Did you know that the IRS commissioner in the Supreme Court judge said the same exact thing? That the code was not written in a way for you to overpay your tax. It was written in a way for you to pay your fair share of tax, but you need to know the code or know somebody that knows the code, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing, and this is according to the IRS statistics that comes straight from the IRS, that only 1% of general population in this country that makes 250 plus in earned income, only 1% pays zero tax.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be nice for all of us to be in the 1% club? But it takes tax planning, right? Again, the
Yeah.
word is that the saying is failing to plan is planning to fail. You have to be due diligent about
Yeah.
your life in that regard.
Well, you're talking to one of those people who I didn't pay my taxes for 4 years.
Oh no, the statute of limitations is only 3 years. If they owe you, you have 3 years to collect. If you owe them, it's indefinite, just FYI.
Yeah, I'm going through it now, so we're gonna talk after this podcast interview. I'll send you some details.
Yeah, I'll add comfort to your life from the financial
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
Because,
So yeah, it's
again,
definitely been
sorry.
it's been interesting. It's been scary at times, but I know that after talking to them It's going to be okay. They're not evil people. They just want you to do it right. It's all.
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, I remind it everybody, right, including my kids. It was a quick side story. My little one, she's 15 now. She came to me and she goes, "Mom," and she got her first job, and she worked our
Congratulations.
summer and at 14. So that was she was 15 when we were filing the actual return. And she goes, "Mom, well, my friends, so she got like $800 back in refunds. Am I getting refunds?" I'm like, "All right, honey, let's have a talk. Sit down. Let
Right.
me tell you how that really works. You know what's coming back to you as a refund? That's your own money
Your own money.
that you earned and you gave it to the government, and now it's coming back to you. So
Yeah.
it's not like a
I
jackpot."
and I am shocked at how many people don't realize that is that you're just getting your money back that you gave to the government. What are you talking about? It's not a refund.
And it's aside from obviously, all your credits, and there could be some refundable credits, but those like, the foundation of it is just really is your refund that's coming back to you. And
Right.
on the bright side too, a lot of people also don't realize it that we right now we have the lowest tax brackets in the history of this country. And we have the lowest tax brackets in the world. I was just in Switzerland and Germany and France in the fall of last year. You know how much they're paying in tax? Anywhere between 40 and 60%. How about that?
That is crazy.
Yeah. I was just in Aruba in August. You know how much they pay in tax?
And Aruba?
80%.
Wow, I was gonna say like maybe I was gonna guess 70.
80%.
That is a lot.
Yeah. So how about our tax brackets? They don't look too bad now, huh?
I'm glad you said that in this podcast. So all of our listeners that listen to this can understand now that this is one part where America is actually great.
100%.
Right.
100%. And if you get to
Yeah.
know all of these intricacies, right, it brings that excitement to you because you are in control of it, right? You can design how you're going to pay tax, when you're going to pay tax. You can defer a lot of the stuff. You have so many tools. I just
Yeah.
designed a plan. It's a true story, like literally 2 days ago. This guy is making 240,000 he made it last year. He's on track for the same amount this year. With this plan, he's going to save $157,000 just 1 year.
That's
1 year.
amazing.
Now
Yeah.
multiply 157,000 times 10 years if he continues this plan. And
Yeah.
now you have what? More than 500,000 in savings. That's a
Yeah.
fully funded retirement account. Plus compounded interest. In year 15, he's going to have over $1 million in this account.
Wow.
That's the beauty of this that I do.
That's impressive. Yeah. Yep. And I'm in the process of rebuilding myself. I went through a divorce and I've lost a lot of stuff. I lost a business, and all the blah 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 was me stuff. But rebuilding with this business and moving forward, doing my thing. And I'm hoping to get back to that point to where I have something where I can, fund myself, going forward. So if I do want to sit down and retire, I'll have something, something to leave to my kids. Yeah.
Again, failure to plan is planning to fail, right?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
starts somewhere. Even a baby
Yeah.
step in the right direction is better than none.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a old 401k account that has $1.47 in it. So what can we do with that?
Hey, by year
2098.
something like that, right?
I'll have
But it
$10.
only takes one lottery ticket, you know.
Yes. Spend that dollar on a lottery
Maybe
ticket.
pick
I go live.
up stop by 7-Eleven and grab one.
Right. Great point. That's my retirement right there. Good
Supplement
planning.
your $1.47 401k.
Right. Oh man. So what are your expectations for your business in the next year or two?
So I'm doing something very interesting now, and I am extremely excited about it because, again, I've been kind of playing in this local markets, and I'm in Annapolis, Maryland, DC, Virginia, the DMV area. What I've been noticing a lot of, there's such a huge lack in tax planning. And again, awareness for people, because you don't know what you don't know, right? If you don't know, you cannot be aware enough to even, start thinking about it.
Yeah.
possibilities you have at your disposal. So I'm trying to get into advanced tax planning where people that's not necessarily working with me as my client at the moment, but it could be somebody completely uh, never heard of me, never worked with me nationally, right? And I'll be more than happy to sit down with them, dissect everything they have, come up with a game plan, come up with an advanced tax strategy, and they can take this plan to their CPA they're already working. Or if they want me to implement it, I'll help them to implement it. The goal is to make sure that they're making the absolute right decision for themselves.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I think that's great because that's part of what I do. I really like to help businesses see their blind spots, see what's good and what's bad, just to put them in the right direction, like you're doing. You want to put people in the right direction with their taxes, and it's amazing.
Well, and it brightens up that day, right?
Yeah.
I have my why in the morning. When I get up in the morning, that's the things I want to do, right? It makes me
Yeah.
happy, feeds my soul. And
Yeah.
that is a beautiful thing. Once again, doing what you love truly and helping people and give at this point of my life, giving back to people,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, right?
So they say, as cliche as it is, but
As
how
cliche as it
is
is.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
That is
amazing.
that.
Yep. So how do we reach out to you? How do we contact you?
So they can go on my website. It's www.allytaxgroup.com. It's ALLYTAX group.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Marina B. Painter, CPA. And I'll be more than happy to reach out and set up a consultation and just to be like a sounding board too, right? Because not necessarily, sometimes you just, again, you don't know if that's what you need till you have some validation and see,
Yeah.
okay, we have a potential for this. Let's explore it more. What do we
Yeah.
need to do? And just opening those conversations and making those connections. That's just a starting point.
Yeah, I think it's important, right? Because in your industry, taxes, even just being a CPA, that's a lot of fear that goes in that territory because people are afraid of the IRS, people are afraid of taxes, people are afraid of, accounting, and oh my God, the numbers aren't going to be right. I'm losing, and the IRS is going to put me in jail. And there's so much fear around this stuff. And I think just interviewing you, not knowing you, your personality, I think it's going to be a great if people just reach out to you and just listen. Like you said, be that sounding board, so people aren't afraid to really sit down and work these numbers and file like they're supposed to, right? Not like
Yeah.
me.
Well, and that's what my motto, actually, my slogan for my company is expertise, excellence, and ease, right? It doesn't
Yeah,
need to be hard. We just need to work together. And it's a
yeah,
two-way street. And by working together, none of that is a hassle. It's
yeah,
easy, but we need to get on working on it,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah. I was asked that question, but why didn't you file? Because I was scared. I thought I was going to owe money. And they're like, well, you don't know that until you file. And I don't think you will owe anything. I'm like, well, I didn't know. I was scared. Well, don't be scared.
there's
That's what I like to say to you so you can, reiterate that is don't be afraid, right?
Well, it's that because people always forget. There's one thing that it's logic and your mind, right? And you rationalize and process it and in a different way than when the emotion kicks in.
Yeah.
The emotion makes the whole situation feel different. So and I see that all the time. When people haven't filed a couple of years, it's very, very common because life happens. Life just really happens.
Yeah.
But then it becomes this giant elephant that's sitting on your shoulders and weighing you down, right? So,
Yeah.
and we as human beings, we always don't we try to stay away from heavy things, right? Because days are long as they are, we have so much on our plate, and it's natural to say, well, tomorrow's not a day, I'll get to it. And that goes month, 6 months, a year, 2 years.
Years.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's just how it happens. And that's
Yep.
okay. How do you eat an elephant? One little bite at
One bite at a time.
exactly. But keep on
Yep.
nibbling, right? You gotta nibble.
Yep. So true. And
Yeah.
and that's the thing, like you nailed it, right? It's like I didn't mean to do it. I didn't want to do it. It was just the fear of, well, I missed it, so there's next year. And you're like, well, there's next year. And then before you know it, you're afraid to check your mailbox because you know those letters are coming, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
And it's
again,
been an okay process. I'm not going to say, it wasn't stressful. It's not stressful, but after I started getting it straightened out, it's okay. And
mhm,
that's what I want to let people know on both sides, right? On your side from the CPA and my side as the potential client customer, you know, it's okay. Just
mhm.
deal with it because it's not going to go away. You got to deal with it one way or another.
You remember at 17, I picked my job, death and taxes.
Right.
Still I live
So,
by that, so I'm still here,
yeah,
still doing it. But
exactly. Yeah.
at the same time, and obviously there's a lot of things of what not to do, and I can write a book on that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the IRS, if you get audited, it is not a big deal because if you know that you can substantiate your data, right, and validate your decision or position you took on the return, it's okay. What they're going to ask for, why did you have this expense? Well, you can structure it in any possible way because for you to do the business, you can't do business without this expense. It's okay. Those
Yeah.
people, did you know, side fun story, Al Capone was not caught on crimes, but tax evasion.
Tax evasion. Yeah. Yeah. That's something I did
So
know.
you want to file. The point is you want to file. The
He's a
goal
criminal, but he got his taxes.
well, that's what I'm saying. You can't get away from that, right? You think that
Right.
the most horrific criminal, and here you go. He got caught on taxes. But anyhow, um, the point I'm trying to make is that you have rules and regulations, right? You have the code, and then you have a gray area, then you have the red. So as long as you stay in the gray, whatever position you take on that return, you're okay. But you need to know your precedents, right? You need to know the court cases, how the court system looks at those items
Yeah.
that could be questionable because there's so
Right.
much talk, especially on YouTube and God knows what platform, and people come to me like, "Oh, I saw this YouTuber." I'm like, "Oh, let me stop you right here, please. Let's just take it back a step."
Right.
Well,
Let's not talk about that.
or there's another new development now with the AI, and people like, "Oh, so I kind of simulated if I sell a rental property, and so the AI gave me this answer." I'm like, "Yeah, but you didn't feed all the criteria that's important, like the depreciation recapture and the passive loss limitations you've had in the past. So if you don't give it the right information, the AI cannot give you the right answer."
Yeah. And that's something that people don't realize, not to go off on a tangent with AI, but as that's a very sour subject with a lot of people, is that it's not always accurate because it's only giving you what you feed it, and if you're not getting the right tax information,
Well, the
then you're
same
not gonna
thing.
get the
If
right.
they go to a CPA and the CPA doesn't have all that information either, and they just give them a scenario, it would be no different than AI giving the wrong information.
100% true. Yep. You got it. Yep.
Right.
Crazy. Marina, thanks for coming on and interviewing with me on the Q.A.C Team Podcast. It's been a blast. This has been a great interview.
Pleasure's all mine. I can go all day. So I'm going to challenge you one day, I guess.
Absolutely right. Man, I really appreciate it. Thanks again. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you. Have a good
You're
day.
very welcome. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Q.A.C Team Podcast with your host, Charles Luttrell. Connect with us on the web at QACteam.com, TikTok at Q.A.C Team, Facebook and Instagram at QAC.team. Thanks for your support.